the story of Ronaldo Nazário does not begin with glory, nor with applause, nor with the certainty of greatness. It begins in the working-class neighborhood of Bento Ribeiro in Rio de Janeiro, a place where dreams were often limited by circumstance and opportunity, rarely arrived without struggle. Born into a humble household on September 18, 1976, though officially registered days later due to a bureaucratic detail, Ronaldo Luis Nazário de Lima grew up in an environment that demanded resilience from an early age. His father, Nelio, worked informal jobs to support the family, while his mother, Sonia, carried the emotional weight of raising children in a life that was never stable or predictable. The young Ronaldo did not grow up surrounded by privilege or expectation. Instead, he grew up surrounded by improvisation, by adaptation, and by the necessity to find joy in the simplest forms of life. School was never his comfort zone. He struggled to connect with academic life, often becoming the target of jokes due to his appearance, particularly his teeth, which earned him nicknames among classmates. But while the classroom diminished him, the streets elevated him. It was there, among concrete surfaces and improvised goals, that Ronaldo discovered not only football, but identity. Football was not just a game to him. It was validation, escape, and expression. Every touch of the ball represented something more than play. It was proof that he belonged somewhere, even if that place was not within the walls of a school. As his passion for football intensified, Ronaldo began shaping his skills in futsal, a version of the game that would unknowingly become one of the foundations of his greatness. In tight spaces, under constant pressure, he learned to think faster, move quicker, and control the ball with an almost unnatural precision. It was in these small courts that his signature explosiveness began to take form, where his ability to accelerate, stop, change direction, and finish with instinct became second nature. His early journey through local teams like Social Ramos eventually led him to São Cristóvão. But even reaching that point required sacrifice that few at his age would endure. Before that, he had attempted to join Flamengo, the club he loved as a child, successfully passing a trial that could have changed his path entirely. However, the cost of transportation proved to be an insurmountable obstacle, forcing him to abandon the opportunity. It was a moment that revealed a brutal truth. Talent alone was not always enough. Yet, instead of breaking him, it redirected him. At São Cristóvão, Ronaldo found not only a place to play, but a structure that allowed his talent to flourish. Coaches quickly realized they were dealing with something rare. A player whose instincts could not be taught, whose movements seemed guided by intuition rather than instruction. His goal-scoring ability was astonishing, but it was his unpredictability that truly set him apart. Defenders could not anticipate him because even he seemed to operate beyond conventional logic, improvising solutions in fractions of seconds, turning impossible situations into decisive moments. Ronaldo's rise from local talent to national promise happened with astonishing speed, accelerated by the keen eye of Jairzinho, who recognized in the young forward echoes of a rare brilliance. Through a series of negotiations that involved missed opportunities with larger clubs such as Botafogo and São Paulo, Ronaldo eventually arrived at Cruzeiro, a move that would serve as the true beginning of his professional legacy. At just 16 years old, Ronaldo stepped into a professional environment, not as a prospect to be slowly developed, but as a force ready to impose himself immediately. His performances were explosive, his impact undeniable. He scored goals with an ease that seemed almost unfair, combining speed, strength, and technical precision in ways that defenders simply could not handle. One of his most iconic early performances came against Bahia where he scored 5 goals in a single match, displaying not only his finishing ability but his awareness, positioning, and opportunism. It was during this period that Ronaldo began to be seen not just as a talented youngster, but as a phenomenon in the making. His rise coincided with his first call-up to the Brazilian national team under Carlos Alberto Parreira, a moment that confirmed his arrival among the elite, even before he had fully experienced professional football. In 1994, at just 17 years old, he was included in Brazil's squad for the FIFA World Cup in the United States. Though he did not play a single minute, the experience of witnessing Brazil lift the trophy from within the squad planted a seed, a silent promise that one day he would not just be present, but decisive. Following the World Cup, Ronaldo took the first major step of his international career by joining PSV Eindhoven, a move that marked his transition from national sensation to global phenomenon. In the Netherlands, Ronaldo did not simply adapt, he dominated. His first season was nothing short of extraordinary, scoring 35 goals in 36 matches, a statistic that reflected not just efficiency, but superiority. Defenders across the league struggled to contain him, as he combined the unpredictability of Brazilian street football with the discipline of European competition. His ability to accelerate from a standing position, glide past opponents, and finish with clinical precision made him virtually unstoppable. But beyond the goals, it was his presence that transformed matches. Every time he touched the ball, something could happen. Every run carried the potential for brilliance. His partnership with teammates flourished, but it was clear that Ronaldo operated on a different level. His second season maintained similar excellence, further solidifying his reputation as one of the most exciting players in the world. It was inevitable that bigger clubs would come calling, and in 1996, Ronaldo joined FC Barcelona, where he would deliver one of the most iconic individual seasons in football history. At Barcelona, Ronaldo reached a level that transcended performance and entered the realm of spectacle. He scored 47 goals in 49 matches, but numbers alone failed to capture the essence of what he produced. His goals were not routine, they were extraordinary. One of his most famous came against Compostela, where he carried the ball from midfield, evading multiple defenders with strength and balance before finishing with precision. It was a goal that encapsulated everything he represented: power, control, and inevitability. That season earned him his first FIFA World Player of the Year award, confirming what many already believed. Ronaldo was the best player in the world. His move to Inter Milan marked another evolution, as he entered one of the most physically demanding leagues in football. In Italy, Ronaldo faced defenders known for their discipline and tactical awareness, yet he continued to shine. It was here that he earned the nickname Fenomeno, a title that reflected not only his ability but his impact. He was not just playing football, he was redefining it. In 1997, he won his second FIFA World Player of the Year award, reinforcing his status at the top of the game. His performances for Brazil during this period further elevated his profile, as he played a crucial role in winning both the Copa America and the Confederations Cup. By the time the 1998 World Cup arrived in France, Ronaldo was not just a star, he was the face of global football. Expectations were immense, and for much of the tournament, he delivered. His partnership with players like Rivaldo brought balance and creativity to Brazil's attack, and his performances in the knockout stages were decisive. However, the final against France would become one of the most controversial and tragic moments of his career. Hours before the match, Ronaldo suffered a convulsive episode that left teammates and staff in shock. Despite the severity of the situation, he insisted on playing. What followed was a performance that lacked his usual energy and clarity as Brazil fell 3-0 to a French team led by Zinedine Zidane. The defeat was not just a loss, it was a moment that raised questions, created mystery, and left a mark on Ronaldo that would take years to overcome. If the 1998 final represented confusion and disappointment, the years that followed would test Ronaldo in ways far more profound. In 2000, while playing for Inter Milan, he suffered a catastrophic knee injury, a rupture of the patellar tendon that many believed would end his career. The images of him collapsing in pain became one of the most haunting in football history. Recovery was long, painful, and uncertain. For nearly 2 years, Ronaldo battled not only physical limitations, but psychological doubt. The player who once dominated defenders now faced the possibility of never returning to his previous level. But what defined Ronaldo was not just his talent, it was his resilience. In 2002, he returned to the World Cup stage, this time not as the unstoppable force of 1998, but as a man seeking redemption. Under the guidance of Luis Felipe Scolari, Ronaldo became the central figure of Brazil's campaign in Korea and Japan. He scored in crucial moments, delivering 8 goals throughout the tournament, including 2 in the final against Germany. Facing goalkeeper Oliver Kahn, who had been nearly flawless throughout the competition, Ronaldo seized his moment. His goal secured Brazil's 5th World Cup title and completed one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. It was not just victory, it was redemption. He was once again named the best player in the world, proving that greatness is not defined by perfection, but by the ability to rise after falling. Following his triumph, Ronaldo joined Real Madrid as part of the Galacticos project, entering a new phase of his career where he combined experience with brilliance. In his early seasons, he maintained an impressive goal-scoring record, winning La Liga titles and continuing to deliver moments of individual excellence. However, as time passed, physical challenges began to take their toll. Injuries, weight fluctuations, and the natural progression of age gradually reduced the explosiveness that once defined his game. Despite this, his intelligence, positioning, and finishing allowed him to remain effective. Later moves to AC Milan and eventually Corinthians marked the final chapters of his career. At Corinthians, Ronaldo reconnected with Brazilian football, contributing both on and off the pitch, helping the club achieve success and strengthening its global presence. His retirement in 2011 closed a career that was far from perfect, but undeniably extraordinary. Ronaldo was not the most disciplined athlete, nor the most consistent in maintaining peak physical condition, but he possessed something that few ever will: a natural brilliance that could not be taught or replicated. His legacy is not defined solely by numbers or trophies, but by moments. Moments that captured the imagination of millions and redefined what was possible on a football field. Ronaldo was not just a player, he was a phenomenon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it really means a lot. Your support helps keep this journey alive. Make sure to check out my latest video. I promise it's worth your time. And if you haven't already, subscribe and stay with me for the next story.